Roger here with the Great Central Sun YouTube channel, and thank you for joining me today. It's been a little while, but we have other duties and responsibilities, and it's now time to come back and continue to contribute to the channel and to deliver messages that hopefully will be helpful for most of you watching this particular channel, or to all the new people that have subscribed to the community. Also, thank you as well for all those of you who have who are now a part of the Great Central Sun community. Today I'd like to talk about something really what I think is really pertinent to what's going on right now, and particularly now that humanity is now embarked on the transcendence process. And in that process, there are things that occur within us and outside of us. And some of these things are very new to many of us. And so assistance is here. Now, what I want to talk about particularly is empaths. Those of us who feel very deeply. Now, I don't want any confusion about this any confusion between this and empathy. Empathy is basically you telling me something that occurred to you, and I have compassion and I have empathy towards you for whatever it is that happened to you. An empath, on the other hand, takes it a step further. They not only understand and they not only care, but they actually feel down to the core exactly the way you might have felt in the situation, as if it was them, as if they were there in the moment, feeling every single emotion that you experienced at that time. Now, this is something that's always been around. Nothing's really new, but more of us are opening up to this ability. More and more of us are opening up to this ability, and this ability can be a little tricky. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. You don't want to be feeling every single person's emotion around you. But when this starts to come in, that's exactly what happens. So if someone is having a horrible day and you're around them, if you are not able to control or able to filter out those emotions, you will be feeling them as well. So it's important to have a bit of some coping mechanisms or skills while we are developing our abilities to control this situation, these emotions, or this particular ability. Because it's not your job or anyone's job to feel other people's emotions constantly. We're here to feel our own emotions and have our own experiences. But it's important to be able to know where someone's coming from. And what this ability does is allows us to feel what the other person's going through for a short period of time, just enough to know, and then filter it out. Because once you know, that's all that's important. So this allows us to be able to know where they're at, so we can actually assist them and help them transmute whatever it is that they need assistance with. Now, this ability allows an empath to heal better than no one else's business. This ability allows an empath to deliver love in a way that no one else can, because they know exactly where it needs to go, because they have felt into it. So this is a very important skill and a very necessary for the planet. and this is just my personal opinion, the empath is going to transform this planet, because they're going to know where to go, down to the deepest levels, down to the recesses of every corner. And that's why this ability is so key. And those of us with it, it's important for us to develop it, understand it, and now know how to use it without having it overcome us. Now, let's get started. If you go to these emotions, there's not a lot out there that one can turn to when it comes to being an empath. There aren't a lot of resources. A friend of mine, my mentor, has come up with a course. And when that course comes out fully, I will be advertising it here, so that those of you who are empathic can have a resource and a way to understand and hone this skill and this ability, so that it becomes a skill that you wield in the assistance of your friends, family, and all of humanity for that matter. Now, while you're getting down to honing this skill, gift, ability, let's talk about some coping mechanisms that you can use to assist you in that. And we'll start with the Crystal Kingdom. Now, Danielle Agnew, she has a YouTube channel here. I'll post her video on this because she's the one that brought it to my attention. And I thought the information was so vital that I am basically trumpeting what she talks about here in this video. And I have no problems reinforcing what someone else says if it's vital, it's important, and it's going to be helpful. So I'm going to post her video down below as well. Now, I'm going to start with the help coming from the Crystal Kingdom. The Crystal Kingdom. And they always have something for us. And we're going to talk about 3 crystals today. And the first one we're going to start with is this one. This is a black tourmaline. This is what a rough black tourmaline looks like. And this is a beautiful stone. And a very, very helpful and important stone. What does it do to assist not just empaths, but everyone that uses it? But for an empath, this is one of your best friends, and it's very easy to get, very common stone. Black tourmaline. When you, let me back up a little bit. When you go to psychologists and you talk about these issues, they're going to try to medicate you. They're going to try to say you're schizophrenic, you're going through some kind of grief, some kind of depression, you need to get on this medication, this, that, and the other, and it's not going to help you. Why? Because they have not kept up with the evolution of humanity. Carl Jung, who died in 1961, as far as I know, and I've taken psychology courses in college, and I've studied psychologists, as far as I have seen, they have not made much progress since he died 60 years ago in the field of psychiatry and psychology. They're still using stuff from back there. Meanwhile, humanity is evolving, and they're not keeping up with the evolution. Because they're treating what's going on down here in the heart up here. And it's not going on up here. It's going on down here. So when you learn to hone that skill, you'll be working with the heart. And the Crystal Kingdom is where you can start to help you in that. Now, black tourmaline is a fantastic stone. It pulls out negative energy from anywhere. If you have it going on within and you just have this, the first thing I advise you to do, and by the way, this technique that I'm going to give you right now, you don't need black tourmaline to do it, but if you have it, it'll help. It's helpful. Just visualize. Use your visualization. If you can't visualize, if that's something you have trouble doing, just trust the process and just act it out. And what you do, any of these energies that you have going on, negative, sadness, grief, and you want to relieve yourself from that, visualize a bubble and just visualize yourself pulling out those energies and throwing them in the bubble, pulling them out and throwing them in the bubble. And when you're finished with that, you send that up to the great central sun to be transmuted. Now, you might have to do that several times, maybe 3 or 4 times. All the while, you'll be getting assistance while holding this in your hand and by your heart. Okay? So you do that 3 or 4 times, and that'll help to take that away. Now, what does black tourmaline do when you have it on your person at all times? Particularly here around the chest area, around the heart area. When you're wearing that, it automatically, by its nature, will tune itself to your frequency and your vibration. Automatically. It's an automatic filter. It tunes itself to your frequency and your vibration. Now, what does that do? Any negative energy coming from the outside, from a situation, a person, or a place, black tourmaline will pull it, bring it through, and it'll calibrate it to your frequency and your vibration, and then it passes on to your heart. As opposed to not having it there, and everything that's comes in off it goes straight to you, and you feel it 100%. And some people don't even want to leave the house because of this issue. When you're wearing black tourmaline, it takes care of that. It filters out that energy. It filters out frequencies and vibrations that are low coming in, and tunes it up to your frequency and your vibration. And if it's too high, because sometimes if you meet someone and their frequency is too high, that's still a mismatch. Black tourmaline will tone it down, and you'll filter it, and it gets to your heart at the level of where you are. Fantastic stone. It's a great filtering agent. Okay, so that's this stone. Fantastic. The next stone I want to talk about is this stone here. It's a silvery looking stone. Again, very easy to get, not expensive. It's called hematite. Hematite is a great stone. It's a ferromagnetic stone, meaning that it magnetizes it. It's a magnet. Guess what else is a magnet? Your heart and your brain, your mind. They are ferromagnetic too. So what does this do? This is a harmonizer. It harmonizes the heart and centers everything. That's important. A lot of people call this a grounding stone. It's more so a centering stone. It brings you out. Because when things are going crazy and you have all that going on in the body, you end up ejecting like a pilot on a plane out of your body. Out of your body. And you're trailing behind the body like a balloon. As Danielle says, like a balloon. Now, when you're doing that, guess what the symptoms of that are? Fogginess of the brain, because you're not in your body. You're off-centered. You'll hear people say, oh, that person, man, they're off-centered. They're not grounded. That's because they're actually not in their body. They're energetically trailing behind it. Because it's too uncomfortable to be in the body. The danger in that is, if you're not in your body, something else might decide it wants to come in there. And when you go back in there, you've got company that you may not like. So this stone centers everything, calms everything down, brings you back to where you should be. Okay? And gets everything calmed down. Hematite. Fantastic stone. You combine these two, hematite, black tourmaline, you've got the filterer. filters out the negative energy, filters out the things that are not in line with you, that are mismatched for your frequency and your vibration. This hematite centers you, grounds you, brings you peace. Then you can go into meditation and also keep that calm down. So these two stones are imperative. Now the third stone I'm going to talk about is rose quartz. Now, you are a loving person. You have great energy. What you have going on within you that comes from your core is extremely important. Extremely important to this planet. Extremely important to everywhere you go. So just as it's important, those energies that are out there, it's important for you to start having an effect on your environment. Start being a positive and a dominant force in your environment, bringing in love, bringing in peace, bringing in contentment, bringing in happiness from within you. It's there because if you're an empath, that's what you're here for. It's automatically, you're born with it. Even if sometimes you don't feel it, no. Start intending to have that come from deep within, not from the surface or anything that's holding anything negative. Deep within. This is a crystal, and it's in the quartz family, which means it's an amplifier. So you want to amplify that heart energy that you have out into your environment and start changing your environment in that way without you even saying a word or doing anything but just showing up. Everywhere you go, you're wearing this. You're wearing these stones to help ground and filter, and you're wearing this to project out the love coming from your heart. And you wear these three in combination, and bang, this will assist you while you hone, because they're no beyond. They're just there to help you as you hone your skill, and so that whatever it is that you've got already honed, you can still start using and projecting out. You don't have to have everything perfect. You start using and projecting out. These will assist you in that. And once you have it completely under control, you won't need these. Okay, you won't need them. So these three stones are fantastic. And even if you're not an empath, they're great. Because every human being has some sense of empathness within them. If you're a human being, you do. Every single one of us have some path. And those that don't, you can tell because they are always delving in self-destructive behaviors and other things that I won't talk about because it won't be relevant to this video. And I want to keep this video short. So these three stones are fantastic for that. Now I'm going to add one more thing. As Danielle said, Epsom salt baths. Epsom's actually a company, but salt baths. Okay, salt baths you can get from your heart, and dip your body in those salt baths as many times as the day of the week as possible. Why? Because they soak up any negative energy in your body. It attracts that and pulls it out of you. It pulls anything that your chakras have taken in, pulls it out of them and clears them up. Now, I don't have any chakras, but many of us do. So if you do, this will help in pulling those things out. It will help. You will feel. That's why many of you, when you take a salt bath, you feel good, because there's anything inside of you, it's pulling it out. It's pulling it out of your energy centers. It's centering you. You feel good because you are taking out all of the things that are pulling you away from being what you want to be, happy and joyful. So do salt baths as much as you can, or go to the ocean. That's the biggest salt bath on the planet. And take a dive in there and go to the beach, because you'll also be encountering every element on the planet that you need to survive. Earth, sun, air, water. and even ether, if you think about it. Okay, thank you so much. And for watching this video, share, like, and subscribe. And until the next video, always remember to defy the taboo against finding out who you truly are.